Once, there was a young boy who loved playing in an apple tree. He would climb the tree, eat the apples, and enjoy the shade it provided. As the boy grew older, he spent less time with the apple tree. He became busy with school, friends, and other activities. The apple tree missed the boy's presence and wished he would come back. Years passed, and one day, the boy returned to the apple tree, now an old man. He was tired and seeking comfort. The tree welcomed him with open branches and offered its shade. The old man sat beneath the tree and reflected on his life. He realized how much the apple tree had meant to him and felt a sense of gratitude. "I'm sorry, dear tree," the old man said. "I've neglected you all these years." The apple tree replied, "Do not worry, my friend. I have always been here, and I will continue to be here for you." The old man thanked the tree for its kindness and spent the rest of his days sitting beneath it, cherishing the memories they had created together. Once, there was a dog who lived in a small village. He was always hungry and constantly on the lookout for food. One day, as he roamed the streets, he spotted a bone lying near a butcher's shop. The dog's eyes lit up with excitement, and he quickly picked up the bone with his mouth. But as he turned to leave, he saw his reflection in a nearby pond. Mistakenly, he thought there was another dog with a bigger bone. Driven by greed, the dog decided to snatch the bigger bone from his imaginary rival. He growled, barked, and opened his mouth to grab the other bone. But to his dismay, the bone he had was gone, and all he got was a mouthful of water. The greedy dog realized his mistake and regretted his actions. He had lost the bone he had, all because of his greed. From that day forward, he learned the importance of being content with what he had and not being consumed by greed. Once upon a time, a hungry fox was walking through the forest. He spotted a bunch of grapes hanging from a vine. The fox's mouth watered at the sight of the juicy grapes. He jumped and tried to reach them, but they were too high. Undeterred, the fox backed up and made another attempt to grab the grapes. Again, he failed to reach them. The fox tried multiple times, each time jumping higher and higher, but the grapes remained out of his reach. Finally, exhausted and disappointed, the fox gave up. As he walked away, he muttered to himself, "Those grapes were probably sour anyway." And so, the fox convinced himself that he didn't want the grapes because he couldn't have them. Once upon a time, there was a little red hen who lived on a farm. One day, she found some grains of wheat. She thought, "Who will help me plant this wheat?" She asked the cow, the sheep, and the pig if they would help her, but they all said no. So, the little red hen decided to do it herself. She planted the wheat, watered it, and cared for it as it grew. When the wheat was ready to be harvested, the little red hen asked again, "Who will help me harvest this wheat?" The cow, the sheep, and the pig all refused to help. So, the little red hen harvested the wheat all by herself. Next, she asked, "Who will help me grind this wheat into flour?" Once again, her farm friends declined her request. So, the little red hen ground the wheat into flour on her own. Finally, she asked, "Who will help me bake this flour into bread?" But once again, her lazy friends refused to assist her. So, the little red hen baked the bread all by herself. When the bread was ready, the delicious aroma spread across the farm. The cow, the sheep, and the pig all wanted to eat the bread. But the little red hen said, "No, I will eat it all by myself since none of you helped me." And so, the little red hen enjoyed the bread all by herself, knowing that she had done all the work. Once upon a time, there was a prince who wanted to marry a real princess. He searched far and wide, but he couldn't find a princess who met his expectations. One stormy night, a young woman knocked on the palace door claiming to be a princess. The queen, skeptical of her claim, devised a plan. She placed a single pea under a stack of 20 mattresses and 20 featherbeds, and the princess was given room to spend the night. In the morning, the queen asked the princess how she had slept. The princess replied that she had hardly slept at all because she had felt something hard in her bed. The queen knew that only a true princess could be so sensitive, as no ordinary person could feel a pea through so many layers of bedding. The prince was overjoyed, for he had found a real princess. They were married, and the pea was placed in a museum to remind everyone of the true princess's sensitivity.